The echo? No. Approve the agenda. Do I have a motion? Claudia, second. Ben, all in favor? All right. Okay, everybody, including the Zoom folks, thank you. And adopting of the minutes, motion. Ben, seconded by me. All in favor? Done. Okay. Public comments. The public gallery is empty. Council referrals, and so I guess it's our planner, Daniel.
Thank you, Will. Unfortunately, Drew is out of town for this week, and so not able to present. So I am here in his stead. So the first item that we have on the agenda is a referral for a rezoning application at 1659 and 1639 Mount Gardner Road. These two addresses are confusingly a single property located at the end of Mount Gardner Road on the north side of Bowen Island. You'll see it here by split in half by Mount Gardner Road. So there is a smaller half of the property at 1658 where there's an existing house, and then a much larger property to the south, 1639 Mount Gardner, where there's currently a large barn structure. So the property has the split zoning where the smaller portion is in the SR2 zone and the larger property is rural residential 1. But the upshot of that all is that it would require a rezoning in order to subdivide this property into 2 lots. The OCP designation, they are all designated this rural residential designation, which means that a subdivision would comply with the official community plan, but not with the zoning. So yeah, this application came before council, was referred to this committee. We conducted a site visit a few weeks ago where members of the committee could come to see. We traveled to the end of this lot A, end of the road dedication, and then we traveled up the driveway and over to this barn, and then I guess through this way over, yeah, and around, and ended up essentially all the way up to the top of the property where the easement reaches the crown land there. So what's shown here on the left of my screen as I look at it is site plan from the environmental assessment that was done on the property. It identified the streams, the water courses, the ponds that are on the property, excuse me, as well as some rock bluff outcrops. So both on the western side of the property and at this, where my directions, northeastern side. Yeah, and so that was largely the end of the presentation, is to look for input from the committee. So the report notes that the applicant is aware of the conservation development policy, aware of the policy goal to protect 50% of the land. The application didn't make any specific suggestions or recommendations, but was open for the discussion with the Parks Committee about where an appropriate location was. The other thing we noted was that the Parks Plan has a general desire for connection between Mount Gardner Road and the Crown Land, but we note there's not like a direct connection to trails from this property, so there wouldn't be, there's not a ready-made built-in great connection to get up Mount Gardner, but the potential exists to maybe have the right-of-way secured to connect to a future trail. So that was the end of what I wanted to present, and then open for any questions or discussion you have.
So they have the bigger parcel, 1639, the smaller, it's 1 lot, and they want it divided in 2 lots, but not further divided, like the large lots not being subdivided, or?
Correct. The application, so this is, it shows, this is 2, but it's one legal lot, and the application is to divide it into 2 lots, and the application would be to divide it based on where the road severs the property to begin with into those 2 properties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sue Ellen has a question.
Yeah, and Daisy.
Oh, Sue Ellen, yes.
I just wanted to mention, when we were there, we also walked down to the beach beside the house, where it says at 1658. There was a path down to the beach, and beautiful views of Hut Island in the middle, Anvil and beyond, and then out to the straight and good sort of swimming beach, and we saw a sea lion cruising by. So I have photos and I've sent them to Drew, who isn't here today, but if anybody wants to see them, let me know.
So, are you suggesting,
I'm suggesting a public beach access.
yep,
Might be something that this committee would want to think about, because Mount Gardner Dock is sort of busy and has slippery, bigger rocks, and whereas this one is good for swimming. She swims there every day.
Where is the path on the, like, compared to where the house is on Monday?
I'll just point with my finger. Sorry if you can't see, but it goes right down beside the house currently.
Okay.
It goes like that to the bottom garage and then down.
Sorry. There.
It currently, it goes like that down to the garage, which is sort of underneath the house, and then goes down and it zigzags a couple times.
Is it possible to get down from the right side of the lot to stay away from the house as much as possible? Did it look
I'd say not easily.
accessible?
yeah, it's pretty steep.
But, I've seen people do that with driveways and roads and
Yeah.
things. You just come in a slightly longer angle. The applicant was with us and she showed us around down there. She's the one who said she does the plunging. She didn't sound like she was against the idea.
Of having
She
access?
was
Yeah.
going, oh, you're interested in that sort of?
Yeah, well, yeah, that sounds excellent.
Because I'm really interested in beach accesses. I think it's important for an island, and once you lose the opportunity, it's rare to get it again. And I see Gigi's got her hand up.
Yeah.
for-
Yes.
DG,
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, great. I agree about the water access. If that can be worked into it, that would be great. I was curious, on another note, I was curious about water supply. I see there's one water intake noted on lot or on 1639, but nothing noted on 1658, and I was just wondering about if any, Daniel, if you have any information on that. Like, where does 1658 get its water from?
Right, that's a good question. I'll be honest, I don't know. I think Drew has looked at it as part of his file. I believe that existing well serves both, the house and the barn, and I'm unclear in a subdivision if that would be the proposed water source for both lots and creating a water system through Vancouver Coastal Health, or if it would be for Lot A to obtain its own well.
Right, because I mean, I'm just thinking down the road, that water access, could be, access to potable water could be an issue and should be addressed in the planning of this subdivision so that there's not any I don't know, problems down the road.
okay,
Yeah, I would just say that, yeah, those are the details we would definitely expect to see and require as part of a subdivision application.
Okay, thank you.
But this is the rezoning.
Mhm.
So this is just the splitting of the parcel so
Yep.
that they could set up a strata or all kinds of ways, I think.
But I guess DG's concerned if 1658 is getting their water from the well on 1639 and they were to sell one and not have access and.
Exactly. There could be, yeah. So it would need, and then, I'm just sort of thinking from an environmental point of view, if they have, obviously it's better to have, one access point in terms of the well rather than, multiple disturbances to get access or, water for 1658 down the road if it's not organized ahead of time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So DG, I'm assuming, seeing as it was one property, that they have this well source on the big property, what could be the big property, that was supplying the main house. It makes sense, but I think we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I think
Yeah.
it's worth.
Sue Ellen, did you want
I
to?
think the planner said that that would be something that would be
Yeah.
normally
Yeah.
looked at.
Yeah, so Daniel, I've got a question about issues, and maybe they're not really issues for our committee, but on the top of page 6 of the report, it's talking about property size. And noting that the zoning for the 1658 is allows a minimum lot size of 1 hectare, and that lot is smaller than that.
Mhm.
And is that going to be a problem?
No, I think it's just something that the zone, like the amendment bylaw.
Yeah.
Would have to make sure that it permits the size for both 1658 and 1639, you know, like. How the bylaw is crafted would have to be done. So the applicant's desire is to split it, you know, exactly in half. So either would make the zoning amendment, they would both be in zoning variations, or
Yeah.
there could be in a, you know, in theory, like council could do a comprehensive development zone and just have like 2 areas, and area 1 allows 1 lot and area 2 allows 1 lot.
Yeah.
We just do
Okay.
that.
And I guess I have a naive question, is could a small bit of the larger lot be shaved off and added to the small lot to make it fit the zoning? Is that possible, and would it make any sense to do that?
I know we've talked about it, like, oh, if it is a problem, if the 1658 is of a minimum size such that, okay, it's not gonna work functionally as a lot. You know, you could just add, because the 1639 is actually above the minimum lot size already, you know,
Yeah.
for the rural, so. You could carve off some of it and say, okay, this part of it is actually still part of 1658.
Yeah.
Like structurally and technically that works fine. On the ground, it's a little odd, but.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay,
Will, is your concern about setting precedent for small lot sizes?
that is my
Okay.
concern.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know enough about zoning and precedent
Right.
setting to know if that's an issue.
Yeah, like and again, so you'll have to forgive me because this has been more of Drew's file. I don't know like the 1658 portion, how that size compares to like comprehensive development zones, like Arbutus Ridge or something, where council just said essentially you can have this many lots, they can be minimum size, and then they designated a whole area as this is going to be the park. And they said, okay, you can, you know, figure out how you want to do your lots as long as they meet requirements and you get this many, but this much of it's going to be park. And, you know, and that if this was a CD zone and it's CD, whatever we're up to, CD 28, and you get 2 lots, you know, area 1 gets 1 lot and area 2 gets 1 lot, and we just call it a day. It's like, council's been clear what they've allowed.
Okay,
Will,
so,
that fits with clustering too, where you don't necessarily want everything all the same size. You want to
Yeah.
have the flexibility, and I think staff have the tools to do that.
yeah, okay.
May I make a
Yes,
comment? So while there is the potential risk of setting a precedent for a smaller than 1 acre lot size, it does come perhaps if we propose this to council and they approve with the concession to allow for water access. So it's not like someone else could just say, well, I want a smaller lot size. So like there were accommodating factors by the landowner. The environmental report seems to have a glitch. It's not letting me get to the site. The others click through.
yeah, I had that same problem.
gonna
But
re-forward it.
Sarah did send it, at least to me.
I'll re-forward it to everybody.
Yeah.
If I do that right now.
Sue Ellen.
There's a third thing here, and that is the, I'm gonna show it on here again, is the trail access to the crown. I know over the years on, or that's one option, but through this lot, there might be several options to get a trail from public right away, the road, up into Crown Land. And I know, many years ago, a former version of this committee looked at trying to connect Mount Gardner Dock up into Crown Land, but that's extremely steep there. At that time, I think I was a member of a community group, and I did get a sort of, if you're interested, let's talk about it more from one of the homeowners down there. But it was kind of like this at that point. Whereas we walked together all the way up into here, and I think it has good potential for public trail access, public water access, and environmental features. So I just wanted to have all three of those kind of on the table, since because some people might not be able to access these things.
Yeah.
We were having trouble at our house getting into them.
So ideally, as a committee, we would perhaps like to recommend that there be public access, beach access on Lot A, and allowable trail access along the easement through Lot B. Is that what we would?
That seems to be what I'm reading in the report. Is that what you're reading too? Yeah. Because they already exist, and so.
Yeah, I've got a question for.
DG's got her hand up too.
Okay.
Sorry. Did you?
Yeah, just in terms of the 50%, I'm really pleased that the applicant is not doing any pushback for the 50%, and I'm just wondering about, I heard about there's the bluff area and stuff, that ideas about where that 50% is going to come from, and I would assume the easement to the water is or the access to the water is one, but what are people's idea? I was unfortunately not able to do the walkabout, so I would be curious of what are people thoughts on the remaining area that would be for the 50%.
DG, I think the environmental report will be helpful. I was going to ask if other members had difficulty accessing it.
Yeah, I did. I had trouble accessing it, and then I went a different way, and I was able to read it, and it didn't really highlight, other than these interesting rocky bluffs.
Yeah.
To me, so
from my point of view, looking at those bluffs, they're a must. They're
okay.
They're covered in bluff vegetation, and so I think that would be a very useful thing to protect.
Whereabouts are they?
Is that the ones that were up here?
I think the bluff area is right in about here, and there's another one up here. That's where the map, one of the maps in the environmental report does highlight those bluffs. And so I think that will be very useful to guide us on that. The other things that I think are important are the big pond. Looks very much like it will be full of rough-skinned newts in spring, and the landowner said that there's frog activity that you could hear. So that's an amphibian habitat. It's on the edge of the open orchard that's there. So that's not something that I think we want to take in on this, but Sue Ellen, did you have your?
Yeah, I think one of the things I remember from the environmental report and from the walkabout was the importance of the wetlands for bats feeding over the water. But just looking at the map of all the blue on the map, the water courses and the wetlands, I'm thinking that the wetlands and the water courses, even though the wetlands are constructed, they're not going anywhere.
No,
You
they're still
know?
considered wetlands.
Yeah.
that
And
they're
so,
established.
those and the bluffs, the thing about bluffs is they don't get usually disturbed as much as wetlands and things. I don't know, what do you guys think? Could we ask for the 50%, the beach access and the trail access?
And I think that's kind of what I hear, like, if the committee says you recommend council, seek public access to the water, to the ocean of, by 1658, seek public access to the crown land through the property, and seek, 50% protection for conservation development that prioritizes the rocky outcrops and, I don't know how you want to define the water courses on the property. And you could just even leave it as that to some extent. That's what you're saying. You're saying there's three things. There's area to be protected, priority on the water and the rock bluffs, public access to the sea, public access to crown land.
Mhm.
Right? That seems like.
And would you mind pulling up, Daniel, this air photo of the property was in the report?
Yeah.
Because it shows, you can see the bluffs on the air photo, obviously the pond and the riparian areas at the south end, which was all that blue shading. And I'm also noticing that at the top left corner, there's some very old trees there. And so by capturing sort of the west and south side would really be, I think. So here are the bluffs, you can see they're even more pronounced here, the rockiness. And there we've got the pond. This was largely blue because of water courses and riparian fringe area. And then up here, like these are quite old trees compared to this all being young, a little bit here. But if it were possible to, have this area as the 50%, and that would totally make sense then too, with the easement coming in to reach that area that's now being conserved. So, yeah, I think sort of once, I guess, I think as like looking at the air photo, and I did a lot of air photo interpretation for the sensitive ecosystems along Sunshine Coast, and yeah, that would be a nice parcel. You've got older forest, Doug fir forest, you've got the bluffs, you've got a wetland, you've got deciduous trees around the wetland, which will attract bugs and birds, and then you've got the riparian areas and second growth forest along the south end.
And good connectivity to crown land there in terms of biodiversity.
Okay.
Do you want me to put something up?
Yeah, so we need a motion here.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, and Kate, do you have anything to add? You've
No, sorry, I wasn't able to make the site visit and I couldn't access the environmental report, so apologies, I don't have much to add.
Okay,
I
thanks.
have just emailed everybody the environmental report.
Okay, great.
Everyone has it now.
Okay,
Yeah, let me share this.
So is it ever possible, Daniel, for us to actually draw on the area that we, or should we just in words, what area we recommend, like the.
I think he's
west
got
and-
it. He's listening.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it is possible, I think. And I think then too, typically we'll come back to you after first reading.
okay.
And then normally at that point, we'd have some sort of map that's worked out that you could see, and then you can say, oh, we want a little bit more here, or something. There's a little
Okay,
bit more.
perfect.
Yeah,
That might push
Thank
us.
you.
Yeah. Okay, so, 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 Okay, so Any- Anybody got a start for the motion?
It's up, it's in front of you
Okay.
here, Will, for you,
Oh.
it's right there for you.
Thank you. Too many screens.
There's a lot of screens now.
Okay, that the Parks, Environment and Climate Action Committee recommend that council work towards creating public access to water, existing beach access and trail connection on the property ground land while protecting the bluffs, wetlands and
Sarah, sorry.
riparian zones as well.
Oh, yeah, yep. I was typing really fast. and
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
bluffs.
Mature forest could be in there.
Yeah.
So let's
Thereby
separate
meeting-
the, on the second line, work toward creating public beach access. I think that,
Beach access, yeah.
yeah.
To the sea,
Yeah,
just to be totally clear, 20 years from now.
Beach
the sea.
access to the sea.
Yeah, and then you can take out by establishing
Yeah.
beach access. And then, we want to make the second trail obviously different from that, so, work toward, allowing,
Or one sentence.
Yeah, I mean, is that trail ever going to be feasible? Like, it is a hell of a climb up that hill. I mean, it doesn't seem like a trail will ever be particularly viable.
Well,
Well, right now, we just easily walked up to there.
Right, but from beyond that, I mean. Drop
Yeah.
yourself into the ground land and maybe, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I do know that area pretty well and it's
Right.
very.
Yeah, well, what I like to think about is, it's not necessarily that it's gonna go far beyond.
Right.
It's possible that it'll go up there, come around the corner and connect with another one.
Okay.
It's possible that it'll go up there, make a little loop to a lookout and come back down. You know, we don't know what'll be in the future, but if we don't establish it now.
Right.
And
it won't happen.
can't,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, you know,
Makes sense.
or
Yeah.
it may be that there'll be, like 20 years from now, it may be that the province will suddenly make that piece of crown land available for development, or a mining claim could happen, all kinds of things could happen. So I just like to set it up so the possibility exists, but it's a good question. We
Yeah.
looked at it too, when
Yeah.
anybody want to go up walking into crown?
Yeah. Okay,
DG's got her hand up.
DG,
Oh, yep.
please.
Yeah, I'm just a little uncomfortable about the work toward, you know, I'm good with the wording, and I'm wondering about having something about, saying that the park, you know, our committee, recommends that in order to meet the 50% conservation policy, in other words, move that 50% conservation up, the following be implemented as part of the, it's not a subdivision, as part of the
Rezoning.
rezoning, and go 1, create public beach access to the sea. 2, protect bluffs, wetlands, etc. You know, do you see where I'm going?
Gotcha.
Although
Allow
the
it-
beach access to the sea and I mean, they're not technically,
50%
yeah, but
conservation.
It would be allow, you know, or create a trail connection across the property to Crown land. And I and what we're wanting is those bluff wetlands and riparian zone and mature forest to make up the remainder, right? Of the 50%.
I have a question.
Sue Ellen?
Is it a remainder or is it as well as?
I'm just sort of thinking that, you know, between the beach access, the trail connection and protecting those areas, it's all gonna come up to the 50%. That's,
That's what
So-
you're, I'm sort of thinking that we have a 50% policy, and do we want to limit ourselves as our committee making recommendations? We don't know what council will say. We don't know what the applicant will say. We understand the applicant wants to keep living there and is interested in making the neighborhood better.
And I would say like the 50% conservation policy is a given. And they're asking for a lot that of the variance essentially to the OCP to have the smaller lot. So that could lead us to the request to have public beach access and the trail access across the property, because they are requiring a variance, and that's when amenities are exchanged for.
mm,
My suggestion to follow that is put bullet 3 at the top. And that's the core of what we want. And you might
Did you say
have
all?
as well as
No.
no,
Well, I'm just,
maybe 50% conservation policy and community amenities,
Or community access to nature.
community
Yeah.
access to nature is
Then we're
what,
being
the following be implemented.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it a rezoning or?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you.
I don't think we can say protect all bluffs, because didn't you say that there's
There's
some in
some-
the top right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
she took it out,
Yeah.
mhm.
protecting, we could say the bluffs on the, what's the orientation north-south on this, maps,
West side,
west side?
I believe so.
well, we.
Yes, it
Claudia asked
is.
this earlier, and it'll come back to us eventually for.
Yeah.
Fine tuning if it gets further, so, and then we can all have the reports and the maps in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and read.
And
the
they have looked at it.
environmental-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that clear enough,
Mhm.
the way it is, Daniel?
Mhm.
Okay,
I'll stop sharing so that you can do the motion and see everybody better.
Sorry, should we add that the area to be under the conservation designation is in lot A?
I don't think I think it's, if you've identified those areas, those are all,
at the moment,
In
it's
the
still
southern part,
one lot.
yeah. Yeah.
And the people on the Zoom, would they be able to see this motion if you stop sharing?
People on Zoom, no, if I stop sharing it, people on Zoom won't be able to see it, but they can see it right now, so.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody can see it while we're voting.
Oh, I see. No, that's fine. I can leave it up there then. Well, you just need to look over here for the Zoom
Yeah.
people.
Okay, any more discussion? I'm just trying to think, there's something that came to my mind, but it slipped, so we can, shall we have someone make the motion? Ben,
I'll move, yeah.
okay, seconded by DG, and all in favor? Okay, Zoom and people, it's unanimous. Thank you. So Daniel, I think we move to the next one.
Me again? Okay.
Yep.
Give me 1 sec.
Buchanan Road.
Oh, my links aren't working.
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't get them.
yeah, and
Is there any of the links in the whole thing?
none of
Just,
them.
oh, I wish I'd known that. I
Yeah,
would
I
have
thought I'd mentioned
100%
that, yeah.
revised
Yeah.
it.
Some of them worked for me and some didn't. It was sort of, random.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll
yeah,
send a revised.
yeah. And yeah, So, Daniel, why don't you start and we'll
Sure.
see
So we
what
got-
happens.
Okay, so this is another rezoning application for, again, two civic addresses. In this case, it's two separate properties that are next side by side, so 670 and 648 Buchanan Road. Here they are, they're located at the intersection of Adams Road along the south and then Buchanan Road on the eastern side of them. Both of the properties have houses on the northern side of their property. 648 has a detached secondary suite as well, both of which are accessed off of Buchanan Road. So this is the proposed site plan and shows a little bit more of the detail of the overall site. So the proposal is that the two lots that exist would be rezoned to allow them a total of 4 lots over the two properties. So each essentially would be allowed 1 additional lot, and that would then be consistent with the OCP designation that's in place for these two properties. Of note for our discussion and context, to the west of the property is a municipal park called Buchanan Park. Flowing through the site is Bowen Brook, which flows from where we're doing west to east through the property. And then across Buchanan is another municipal park that's Mike's Lord, that has a trail as well that goes down to connect to Gardner Lane. That's sort of off the map here. The property has existing covenanted areas. You'll see these in the hatched marks that are through the site that are protecting Bowen Brook as well as Billington Creek. Although they don't protect, you'll note like the size of them are not a 30-meter covenant area, but they're a lesser extent. And what's proposed, excuse me, in the application is a park dedication to expand Buchanan Park. So the green, as you'll see, is proposed new park dedication. That's about 21% of the overall site. Just by way of zoning, it's zoned rural residential 3. You'll see sort of the whole area around it was part of a comprehensive development zone some time ago, the CD9 zoning. And the OCP designation, as I said, is this rural residential RS designation that would permit the two properties to become 4 and be compliant with the OCP. There is an environmental report that is available somewhere, but maybe you weren't able to reach it. But this is the site plan from that plan. So so Madison Consultant highlighted the water courses that flow through the site. You'll see here she highlighted developed areas, so areas that are cleared. So this southern portion where we started the site visit, up the driveway through the site and the building sites for the various dwellings. She notes a water course up here, which is looked like when we were on our site visit, it was sort of like a constructed pond almost that was, sorry, where am I going? That was north of Bowen Brook, and then this sort of field area. And I'll go back to here where I'm sort of showing them side by side. The other thing to note is that there's a municipal trail that comes into Buchanan Park that crosses Bowen Brook, comes down, I guess to here, there's sort of like a place, there's a swing set. And then the trail then continues and then obviously starts to trespass and trespasses across this neighboring property and then trespasses across 670 Buchanan. And then essentially people then are following down the driveway between the two, and then they start on the municipal trail across the road this way.
So Daniel, the park dedication is mostly also already a covenanted area, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only 21%?
Mm-hmm. So the report notes, it talks about, the idea of, okay, could we expand the park dedication on the north side of the creek as well? One of the things from the applicants, why they initially proposed it this way, is both of their wells are located, essentially, do you see where the covenant area is cut down? Like one well is located essentially in here, and one well is located here. And so, so the covenants were sort of, I think, crafted to allow them to still have wells in what would otherwise be the covenanted area.
So the wells are in the covenant area or just outside?
Just outside, but essentially, like if you see the covenant area on the north side on 670, how it kind of comes down.
Yeah.
And then
because
it's
of
like,
the
and the wells
So
in
why
here.
would
wells in
the
here.
covenanted area on the north side of Bowenbrook not be
Park
included
dedication,
in park if the wells are outside?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it equally, like that could be
Certainly the way it
recommendation.
Connects to Mike's Lord,
Mhm.
it would make sense to have that continuation on the north side of Bowenbrook.
Yeah.
And do we know why they only came in at 21%?
I think they were just proposing sort of what they felt made sense on the site, and they're open to further discussion. Because like from others who were on the site visit, I think that's a fair characterization that this was their initial proposed site plan.
Do we know how much of the existing property is in that covenanted area? That's
Yeah,
not part of the park dedication?
I don't know offhand.
Okay. Do we know? Sorry.
Sue Ellen?
Oh, just one of the things I think that I think would be important besides the 50% park dedication is also trail access to connect the two municipal parks somehow. And then maybe we can just leave it as open as that. Maybe they don't want public walking upstream from their wells. Could that be? I don't know. But that's what's happening now,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
So yeah,
Anyway,
just
we left it open.
yeah, like some notes for our site visit, like the applicant was sort of trying to explore the idea of a trail on the south side of Bowen Brook. And I think when we looked, we all thought that that was quite challenging, that it's quite wet, it's quite steep. It's like,
It's quite
it's,
environmentally sensitive.
yeah, it's like a wetland area. On the north side, so the driveway shows like this. It's like when you sort of walk it on the ground, the trail sort of leaves the driveway, goes through this like, sort of open area. And then it continues on somewhere a little bit north of the park and comes along and down to here. So we were trying to look on site if like, well, could you actually join it, in here? And could you do something here? And it's like, well, maybe it's possible. It seems a shame when there's like, clearly it follows an old logging route along this northern property. And it's like, well, if you're going to do something on the north side of Bowen Brook, it's like, you'd like to follow the logging trail route of like an already cleared and flattened area and not have to create a neighboring one that's 20 meters down the slope, right? It seems excessive, but maybe the recommendation from the committee is like that, that council ensure public access between Buchanan Park and Buchanan Road. And then it's that there's a trail access that comes across and gives both options. So like just the option to connect it to Buchanan Park directly or, to follow across the neighboring property if that's ever a possibility.
Can you remind me which one is Buchanan Park and which one is Mike's Lord?
Sorry, this one is Buchanan Park. This is existing park and Mike Lord is over here, this one.
Mike's Lord.
Mike's
Okay.
Lord, yeah.
Did the proponent seem open to the idea of having people walk on the driveway?
I mean, I think their preference would be to not have that be the case. People are currently walking on their driveway,
Right.
I could say, as
Yeah,
a informal
okay.
trail route.
And is the area directly north of Bowen Brook more feasible for a trail if we were to build one, or is it a similar kind of environment?
You would have to use the driveway.
You'd have to use.
Like, I don't think there's a route, definitely where you hit Buchanan, there's not another access point that's south of the driveway. Like maybe up here there is where you're going across the field and not like, this is where it sort of splits is sort of as you enter 670 Buchanan.
Hmm.
But there's not another route that's further south,
That's right. 'cause this
right?
was
Like,
kind of all wet. in
Yeah.
that corner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, like this is where the big culvert crosses the street and stuff, like you couldn't get.
I mean, it seems to make sense that ideally this would be, because the trail's right here on the other side, that this would be part of the trail. Then it cut off through the field and at least, landed at this corner. And in the future, maybe we get permission from the other owner, or, it just leaves things open to make that connection. And then I would like to see, this is all wetland swamp, that be included in the park dedication. Mind you, if it's park dedication, then it's maybe the covenant is stricter than the park dedication. As far as.
Yeah, my experience is covenants are seldom ever enforced.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody to do it.
Mhm.
Ben?
It sounds like the area that's in the covenant isn't really usable for anything other than existing as it is. Is that enough of a deterrent for people to do something to it? Well, I mean, we also being within a park or or a covenanted area.
Mhm.
Sue Ellen?
I think the people who would pay attention to the covenanted area and would be park staff or municipal staff, if it was actually park. I don't think they would put a trail in there because they would know municipality doesn't break covenants. And because they're good.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think, however, that other people break covenants. And to just leave it as covenanted area, we've already seen people have been making ponds and changing, putting culverts in, and it does happen. So I'm personally, I like the idea of asking for the all of this wetland that we looked at, and the creek would be better protected, I think, as park. And
Yeah, so
I think
you
Stan-
and Claudia are of the same mind, I think.
Well, I went back on my own
Yeah.
recommendation, just thinking that I don't want it someday to be like, oh, this is park and let's push a bike trail or a horse trail or whatever through there, because if the covenant doesn't allow trail building and a park does.
Yeah, well, I think, there's, I'm thinking of the Cape Roger Curtis Conservancy lands. They have, they got, and there's parts of it that are covenanted. So I think, couldn't a park have covenanted land on it too? And so I think just having the covenanted land in part of the park would make it, as Sue Ellen said,
strong.
a municipality doesn't break covenants.
Well, I should look to Daniel and
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
that's what I understand
Yeah.
anyway.
But I guess it's like, it's a little redundant, I guess, because if council holds the covenant and council says, well, this is the top priority is to do, to create this access route, we can release our own covenant, I guess.
So council could,
Yeah.
Like,
But we did all that work on park designations recently. This could just be a park that doesn't allow for trails. If it's not if it's not a feasible thing.
I mean, I would say in zoning, we allow trails in every zone.
Oh, really? Okay.
So there could be, in theory, there's by zoning, every property could have trails everywhere. Now, obviously it doesn't. And I can point to many cases where municipal staff have looked at trail connections and said, this is not either not ecologically possible or not ecologically a good idea to do, right? So, yeah.
So I think I'd go with park and covenant is the strongest we could find. I think covenant without a park, again, there's so many places that have covenants that the owners don't even remember. So
DG has a question.
DG, thank you for.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Will. We need to get that park dedication and we need to get the amount up to the 50%, for nature. And I'm just wondering whether whether we can sort of split the middle or something and see about getting part of a trail that goes along the driveway, particularly in 648. If it can be on the south side of the driveway and then, I don't know, somehow work its way along. But I think that would be, I would think we'd be getting close to the 50% if we can do that and somehow with their well issue, just figure out a way for access to the well. I don't feel the well argument is a particularly strong one in terms of, saying that we can't have any park dedication on the north side of Bowen Brook there. So anyways, my two bits.
Claudia,
Yeah, I would add that, don't see any reason not to be meeting the 50% policy. So, and that's what we're here to do, is to make sure that it is put in place. It's already been decided that as a municipality that that's what we're doing. So, we can't keep saying yes to 21% and then the next person comes in, well, they only had to put aside 21%. So,
I want to do 12, yeah.
yeah.
So, Sue Ellen,
Well, I think we could probably do something similar as to the previous one, except without the sea access. And I liked Claudia's suggestion about making sure there's public trail access between Mike's Lorg on my right-hand side there and
Buchanan Park.
Buchanan Park, without us stipulating where it is. Because, I mean, Claudia had just pointed down to it could be quite high in the park, but the point is that there's a connection, a trail connection, and details can be worked out either later in this process or maybe even years from now. But the point is that there would be, our main point is that there needs to be a trail connection across between the two parks.
Okay, Ben.
I'm just wondering about the size of the proposed new lots. Is that as small as they could be, or is that just how they would be usable by people who would buy them? Like, what's the story there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I would say definitely this south, whatever we are, eastern one is about as small in terms of the applicant did work looking at like septic and water and requirements. Yeah, and so essentially it ends at the repairing area. There's not a lot of space. The other one maybe, could be, the park could maybe expand a bit.
I think if I'm thinking of the right place, it's already sort of flattened out with the gravel lot right in that corner, right, of that second, the more westerly lot.
Yeah.
So maybe could get a little bit more space off of that one. I mean, I have no idea, but.
On the air photo to the left, Daniel, it shows like the clearing and a big purple circle above the clearing. What would that be?
Here it says inundated area.
Oh,
So this is like when we walked the trail out. I mean, I guess where did we cross? Because we were looking across, right? And that's where you could see, I mean, through here as like where the swamp grass was, right? We were sort of trying to look at like, okay, where legally would the trail go that was going to go across? And then where does that go in the ground? And when we looked, it was like, that looks like swamp grass. Just
it
kind of
definitely
back
looks
to-
like, there could be more park
Yeah.
dedication at the north of the clearing, and if it were
to
taken
this
out
part.
of the
Yeah.
new lot size, and it's all wet and swampy,
Yeah.
so.
That's downhill from Adams Road towards,
Mhm.
right? Like it's quite a steep downhill there. And then
Yeah, you come
get-
down to a flat and then it goes like for this left one, then you go down again to the creek.
Okay.
So I think that the core thing I'm seeing is we would like to see 50% park achieved. And a connection, a trail connection between the two adjacent parks, Mike's Lorg and Buchanan Park. I think that's core, right?
And then just on the second point, Sarah, you could say protect riparian zones and wetlands.
Yeah,
Wetland, yeah, protect wetlands and riparian.
Is the
Yeah.
key as the key features of the site.
yeah,
And then maybe the third one is like expand the proposed park dedication.
yeah.
To include areas north of Bowen Brook. Like
Yeah.
maybe that's fair enough at that point.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've talked about with Carla is one of the challenges she has sometimes. We talked a lot about sort of the difference between park dedication and covenants and when you want one and when you want the other. And just the idea that like practically on the ground, one of the challenges she sometimes has is that if a park exists, people will then, and not saying, would necessarily happen on this site, but like people will clear up to that because that's my property line, right? And then they'll put infrastructure adjacent to the park. And then the threat becomes, well, these trees are hazardous and they're putting stuff at risk.
Yeah.
And so, Carla as manager of parks has to take down the dangerous tree so it doesn't cause risk to life and property.
Yeah.
And it's the idea that, sometimes you can marry park designation with covenants adjacent to it. So essentially saying, well, this is the park, this is the area we want to protect. And then we're putting in a covenant that says you can't disturb, because then essentially it's like saying it's buffering.
Yeah.
And all I have to say in this case, so, if you're recommending 50% be protected, then maybe it's a combination of both. So it's like, well, it's park dedication, but then maybe in some cases it's covenant instead of park. And that might be some of the rationale for it, is saying like, this is the core area we want to be park. And this is now our buffer of saying this will still be part of the proposed lot, but it's protected from development to sort of buffer the park.
Yeah, I think we can leave that for the next stage, maybe.
Yep.
The other thing I've noticed with parkland too, including close to where we live, is adjacent parkland often becomes a dumping spot for your garden waste. And in places I've seen, encroachment, like, oh, maybe that outbuilding is more in the park than in the on the property. So again, that covenant thing might help with that too. I don't know.
Well, and if you don't mind going back to the air photo again, or the, I guess it was the maps you had up together. I'm just thinking about, because of what you said, Will, like that, the new proposed lot on the west side, it would contain a lot of wetlands in the area. And if the new owners, were to expand the clearing or dump in there, that I think we should add where we said that we'd like to see park designation include areas north of Bowen Brook, and potentially the north end of the new lot to the west, like that.
Yeah.
Lot, because it's bigger than it needs to be, like it's 1 acre is what it needs to be, presumably, right? And I'd like to, it has that, and to the right, you've got the creek going right through the property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is really wet.
This is the.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I think, Claudia, I had thought, sorry, and I'll stop this one, that would sort of be the part that's included where it says wetlands and riparian areas, is that, okay, this would be conversation we have with them about, okay, the committee's feedback is 50%.
Yeah.
If we're gonna draw it, you didn't draw it to include the creek, so like that creek didn't have protection in that inundated area. It didn't, it was like, okay, but that seems to be the wetland, and then the wetland to the north, that's the like constructed pond essentially area. Those would be the first ones to include in an expanded area. And then we're just flagging the expanded park dedication to say you're supporting the park, the idea of the park dedication, but you'd like to see it include areas north. And then when we come back, would get a better map to show you, okay, this
Sure.
is exactly what we're now proposing, and
Yeah.
then you can have a little bit more play on.
Yeah,
Areas.
Okay.
I just didn't want it to sound like we were only focused on
Yeah.
north.
Yeah.
and
Understood.
Bolingbrook.
Yeah. So is everybody comfortable with the motion? DG and Kate?
Yep. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that.
I'm just looking at little pictures of you on the screen beside me. So who wants to make the motion? Claudia makes the motion, seconder. Ben, all in favor? Unanimous.
Okay, and I've got to hop off the call, and so good to see everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Yep, thanks,
Bye.
DG.
Bye, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Okay, and so new business sustainability grant awards. Kate?
Mm-hmm. Cool. Do we have quorum still?
So Ellen is voting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think we're supposed to have 6, aren't we?
In that case, do I just provide the update and then we can't make a motion?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's 10 voting members now.
I think we're okay.
I think
because
it's
we
half.
don't have,
Isn't it half plus 1?
that's a question I think you could go ask Steph.
I might do that.
Yeah.
That's okay, just for a
Yeah,
minute.
I'm gonna take a quick break.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Just
Please
keep in
hold,
mind that-
Kate.
Just keep in
Okay.
mind, mics
Yep.
are all on still.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't say anything.
Good point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ben, that leaning stump at the corner of the junction from our house?
Yeah.
It's down now.
Oh, man.
The parks people took it out. It was,
Okay.
I think it was continuing to lean more and more, and so,
Every day my dog goes and stands underneath it and I'm like, one of these days, buddy.
yeah,
No, that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that felt like it was, I mean, it's been like that since we moved here.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
randomly
well,
doing it.
it's been there since we moved.
Oh,
So-
really? Yeah,
And
yeah.
so, our son grew up climbing on that.
Oh, that's
And,
fun, yeah, it's amazing.
So we sent him photos and he was going, oh,
Nice,
he
yeah.
said he thought it would outlive him, but,
Yeah. We had one of those in our laneway. I don't know if you remember that. It must have been a huge maple tree or something. And when
Oh,
we
yeah.
moved in, it was on the verge of falling down. And I was in our shed one day and heard the smash and it landed on the front of our car.
oh, ooh,
Yeah, and it was full of wires because they put lights on it and stuff. People who've been there before, it was a hassle. Anyway.
wow,
Yeah.
We do not have quorum. We do need
Okay.
half plus 1.
okay.
So we could,
So,
it's up to you.
just for general information, I don't, this is outside my area of expertise, so I don't know if we can get Kate's report or not.
Is Carla? Yeah, we could discuss and vote by email.
Okay. So, so we could have the report and then discuss
Mhm.
by email?
Mhm.
Okay, Kate,
We'll vote by email, yeah.
take
Should
it.
we
Wait for Sue
Ellen?
Ellen.
Oh, yeah, we gotta wait for Sue Ellen, who I
Okay.
think just, no, she's probably waiting in line. So Kate, Sue Ellen has followed in your footsteps and has
I'm back.
acquired an e-bike from the
Ah,
e-bike from the bike shop on Bowen, so.
that's great. I know so many people have got bikes from there. They must do good business from locals with their old stock.
Yeah. Okay, Sue Ellen's back, so take it away, Kate.
Okay, great. So Carla, Sue Ellen and I met on the 30th of April to discuss the applications for the Sustainable Community Grant and Daniel submitted his feedback by email beforehand. So just a quick overview of the eligibility criteria for the grant. Projects must support either community action like greenhouse gas reduction or water conservation, or they must cover environmental protection like ecosystem protection or environmental education, and they must benefit the broader community. So there was 4,000 to allocate in total, and there were 6 applications. There were 3 that we felt met the grant criteria, and of the 3 that we felt didn't meet the grant criteria, I won't share specifics of the application to maintain privacy based on how the agenda was shared, but we felt they either didn't meet the criteria because they didn't fall within the realm of community action or environmental protection, or they didn't benefit the wider community. So the projects we felt were most aligned with the criteria were from Bowen Island Conservancy, Bowen Island Food Resilience Society, and Tourism Bowen Island. What I want to double check, like it's presuming that this is what we're recommending, I can share some details of these projects. That's not like overstepping privacy boundaries.
Naming the funds.
Just describing like what was involved in the projects. That's all okay, I'm assuming.
I believe so. They're listed in the agenda.
Well, they're just listed. There's no details about.
I think that's fine. We used to sometimes publish the applications in the agenda, but we just thought that was a bit much to do.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we do share some of the details of the applications just so that the committee has a clear understanding of what the project entails, perhaps.
Okay, thanks.
So the Bowen Island Conservancy proposed a Bowen Backyard Biodiversity Handbook, which is a professionally illustrated Bowen-specific handbook with about 30 practical stewardship actions residents can take on their own properties. And so it's a big project, which I think is going to cost around around 19,000 total, with 300 plus volunteer hours, and they've got a mock-up already. And so they asked BIM for $4,000 specifically for illustration and layout. So this project aligns really well with environmental protection and also ticks the community impact box. We're proposing that BIM grants them half of that request, $2,000, to ensure that funding can be spread across multiple deserving projects. Next is Bowen Island Food Resilience Society, who proposed a project for reorganising beds for irrigation. And so BIFS wants to complete the final 16 beds at Grafton Agricultural Commons and dig irrigation trenches so the whole garden can switch from overhead watering to a drip system, which would save significant water and make the space easier for volunteers to use. So their total project cost is $6,100, and they asked them for $1,620. We're proposing that we grant them $1,200, and acknowledging that they have received grant funding before, and preserving some grant money to offer the other applicants. Lastly is Tourism Bowen Island, who proposed a Leave No Trace project. And so Tourism Bowen Island wants to use the Visitor Information Centre, which sees over 25,000 visitors every season, to reduce visitor impacts through an interactive information board, reusable garbage bags to hand out, and proper waste sorting bins located at the visitor centre. This project aligns well with environmental protection again, as well as community action goals. However, we did have some concerns about the garbage bins, just in terms of like logistics for pickup. And also the bag element, we were hesitant about them just handing out a bunch of plastic bags, which in of themselves could create waste or just not really be used efficiently. So I think in our recommendations, we've suggested that they focus more on that educational board. And they requested $1,000, and we're proposing we grant them $800. Sorry. I was just going to say the recommendation is written in the agenda, which I can read out, but any points of discussion there, any questions? I can also provide more details about the projects that we declined.
I'm happy with that summary. That was great.
Yeah.
It sounds like, you landed on a few really good initiatives.
Yeah. Sue Ellen.
One of the things we talked about with the tourism one was the idea of leave no trace, or pack it in, pack it out kind of thing. And I did go, and this is for Carla, really, I walked by there the other day, Carla, and one of their little signs that they've got out is pack it in, pack it out. And what we thought was the way Bowen Islanders are, we take our own waste to the recycling center, you know, and the idea of more garbage being dumped in the cove, even if it is nicely packaged in a plastic bag and left in a bin, who picks up the tab for that and who does the work around that? So this is why we were thinking about the education board and the idea of, I'm looking at the draft OCP, I was just struck by how the circular economy, the recycling ethos we have here on Bowen kind of fits with the education board and the idea of pack it in, pack it out, take it home kind of idea. So Carla's going to talk to Bowen Tourism about that, if depending on what we think. Is that correct, Carla?
Yeah, I can do that, but thank you so much for providing that overview of what we discussed, because I think I could probably just direct Bowen Tourism to this video too at this point. And yeah, and thanks to you as well, Kate. So we will though ask them to focus their project more on the educational aspect and yeah, all those things that you said.
Yeah, I think
And should the project be approved for grant funding, it does have to be approved by this committee, and then that recommendation would go to council. So we are a little ways away from that. Just
yeah.
Okay. Okay, and so as far as we can go, we've gone, and so we'll do the voting by email on this this presentation.
Why by email?
Because we don't have a
We don't have a
quorum.
quorum.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did too, yeah.
Thank
No, we
you.
don't have a quorum. Our Carla's suggested that we do it via email, so
Yeah.
we'll get that organised. Maybe I'll send a
Yeah.
link to the video to the rest of the committee members so they can see, and if they have any questions, follow up.
Yeah. Okay, and it says updates is next. And it's council updates. Anything from council, Sue Ellen?
Yeah, we saw the first draft of the OCP, as I just mentioned, at council meeting on Monday, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We had a first quarter look at all the different municipal operations. So if you want to see how things are going in the municipality, each department put in a nice, colorful, brief overview. So if you've got any questions about things, that's a good place to look and see how things are developing. And the big thing, what was the big thing?
Sewer.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We introduced the septic maintenance bylaw for Bowen. Thank you, Sarah, because that's what I put the most thinking into. And this is the idea of protecting not just our watersheds and water courses, but the groundwater down there in the aquifers as well. And all of it by beginning to require some kind of septic maintenance, septic field maintenance. So whether that's people have to show, if depending on how it's regulated, would people need to show their receipts that they got the pump out done, or would there be testing, and what would it mean for the different kinds of septic fields? Type 1 septic field is just the kind with a tank and a field, and then there's the kinds that have mechanical elements and need more types of technical attention. And anyway, we looked at some of these options, we talked about it, and we directed staff to begin to put together an implementation plan. And then it's gonna go, also, that'll include public input, so we'll be able to do a lot of, education and, gathering public input. And, the staff report is there on the agenda if you'd like to have a look.
Great, thank you. Claudia,
Has anything come to council, further about Seymour Bay's proposal?
Not that I've seen. Sometimes it takes a while. One thing that did happen is, almost is right after, Vancouver Council approved, what we used to know as Green Line ferries, the electric passenger ferry, now calls themselves Circle Ferries, spelled with a Q. And, they came as a delegation to, council and, spoke to us about having, now they've got approved place to land in, Vancouver. They're good for Gibson's. They're looking for a place on Bowen that, would involve new development. So that's what I know about Seymour Bay. But also, they might be looking at something interim because they can, they were acknowledging that Seymour Bay may be years away. And, so I hope I'm, articulating that correctly. I don't have any notes here in front of me, and knowing that maybe people are watching, please chip in and correct me if I'm wrong, but, that's, the most of an update that, I know of. At that time, if I remember correctly, council did, talk to them about Snug Cove, and they were expressing some interest in Snug Cove as an interim. And how would it work, because they would need to have the charge barge room for that to sit there, so they would charge from the battery, was the idea that I understood. So that's all I know so far.
Thank you.
all right, I think it's time for a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion?
Unless
Yeah.
Carla wants to add anything for the updates, I,
Oh,
She didn't, when we did the
yeah,
agenda.
I didn't see anything.
okay,
Yeah, I gave a pretty extensive update at the last meeting. So
that's fine,
yeah.
because there's also something that you put in the, that first quarter municipal update that's in Monday's agenda for council. So you've got photos and things in there, basically covering things I think we heard about at the last PECAAC meeting.
Yeah, I think I went over all of that actually. So
Yeah, very good.
okay.
All right, so motion to adjourn. Ben, favor, second favor?
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Kate.
Thank you. Bye.
Start up,
Bye.
bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben. And thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to figure out
Bye,
how to,
Sue Ellen.
Yep, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks.
coming. I'm so glad we got the meeting
can't
done.
figure out how to end
I
this
was
meeting.
a word.
Yeah.
How do I end the meeting?
Well done, Sarah.
Thank you. Hang on, I can't now figure out how to end this meeting.
Pull the plug.
I think we're still probably broadcasting and being recorded
Well,
and
we
all that.
shouldn't be, because that's done.
Okay.
I just don't know how to get out of it on here. Yes, like that.